on Chuckleheads. As you can see, I'm out here at Owl's Den. I'm playing with my buddies Justin, Josh, and Tyler. Here's hole one, par three, 318 feet. There's kind of like a little bowl right before the basket where those down trees are, and a pond right behind the basket. You can see Justin's shot was great, just went straight, faded out a little bit right into the bowl. I'm taking my FD, trying to put it on an ante line and let it drift towards the basket a little bit, and just didn't quite put enough ante on it, so it's going to fade out down the hill towards the pond. It's really more of a berm, and not on camera, but I'm just to the left behind some trees. Didn't really have a shot, so pitched over. Again, not in shot, but about 10 feet just down the berm. Tapping into three. On to hole two, par three, 344 feet. It's kind of just straight ahead. I'm going to take that FD and try and do the same line I wanted on hole one. And this time I execute. Just put a good drift on it, faded just slightly, and parked the hole about 4 feet. And tapping in the birdie. All right, on to hole three. It's also a par three, 215 feet. Pretty much just straight ahead. You can take a flick or a slightly turning backhand. And I'm taking that slightly turning backhand route with my crown and just overturned it. I'm about pin high, just down in the ditch, tucked behind a bush, so I'm gonna have to straddle out. There's Josh. And here I am straddling out as far as I could behind the bush, about 18, 20 feet, and just sailed it right. But here I am coming back from a three, and just hit left chains. So I'll be tapping in a bogey, back to even. Here, hole four, par three, 259 feet. Taking my mint disc profit and just trying to put it on a nice flat line, let it hyzer back in. And it was a good shot, just threw it about 28, 30 feet long. And the basket was a little elevated, but managed to squeak it over the rim. And on to hole five, par three, 374 feet. On top of a berm just before those weeds, but the weeds are maybe 8 feet past the berm, so you don't have to worry about going too long. Here I took my less beaten trespass on a flick line and just didn't get it flat enough, so I ended up a little short, pitching up with my justice, trying to hit the berm and do exactly what I did, just hit the face of the berm and get over the top of the berm right in front of the weeds and hit my putt about 8, 10 feet. Here's hole six, par three, 372 feet. There is a mandatory on that right tree. You got to throw to the left of that tree. You can see the yellow sign there. And I am taking my mint disc profit. Sorry, not my profit, my jackalope. I'm just trying to put it on a nice, slow hyzer flip line. And ended up kind of just throwing a flat turning line and just didn't have enough to fade back towards the basket, but still about 70, 80 feet, kind of giving it a little bit of a run. But Tyler and Josh over there farting at me. So here I am, tapping in my three. On to hole seven, par three, 227 feet, just tucked over there to the right of those trees, past those logs. It was Josh's shot. I believe this is a katana, and it just went right in front of the basket, just a little short. I'm taking my BT Hard Harp and just trying to put it on a nice hyzer line, let it swing back towards the basket. Just put a little bit too much on it. Didn't have quite enough to swing back, so it actually got a lot more ground play than I thought it would too. It hit the ground and skipped about 30 feet, so here I am about 30 long. and just sailed it, skipping off the top. Come back 3, and just the same thing on hole 3, just high left, spit out. So dropping in a bogey, back to even. And we are on to hole 8, par 3, 390 feet. This was slight headwind, so I'm gonna take my flippy trespass and just put it on a hyzer line and let it flip up and fade back in towards the basket. And it was great. It got pin high, maybe just about 45 feet to the right. And here's Tyler's upshot. Faced it. It was a great shot. Here's my birdie 2 look. And just didn't give it the effort. So I'll be tapping in a par 3 again. On to hole 9, par 3, 288 feet. There's a bunch of lucky lines straight down the middle. But I am going to go out to the right of everything with my defender and hopefully get a big skip. And I just put too much on it. And I did get a big skip, just kind of more of a straight skip. So it ended up about 80, 90 feet long. So I'm going to throw my Glow Makani and just pitch up. Didn't really have a line at it. So I'm just going to take my par and move on. Dropping in the par with the Makani. Here's hole 10, par 3, 414 feet. There's a pond to the left, and the basket's kind of on a peninsula just to the right of the pond. I'm taking that same trespass. Trying to do the same thing I did on 8, just let it flip up and glide down there. And I thought it was perfect, but apparently it was just short and almost ended up in the pond. But it was safe. Circle 2 look, or sorry, not circle 2. It was about 28 feet and just sailed my putt. Dropping in the par again. And on to hole 11, par 3, 461 feet. There's a bunch of lines you can take, but I am electing to go the turnover line with my trespass again. I just don't quite put enough ante on it, so it goes straight for a little bit and then hyzers out into that tree. You can see me here crawling in. I'm attempting to throw my tournament harp kind of right near Josh, let it fade in a little bit. But it was tight in here. I had to straddle some trees and avoid some branches in my throw. There's me pitching out. Didn't quite do what I wanted, but it ended up better than I thought it did. Circle 2 and a jam it. So saving the par on to hole 12, par 4, the only par 4 on the course. It's 512 feet. And I'm going to try and take my jackalope and put it on a big ante and hopefully let it fade out. I just put a little bit too much on it, started turning quicker than I wanted, and just hit some trees, dropped down. Still have a line towards the basket, so I'm taking my Match Play Explorer, just flicking it up there as far as I can. It was a decent shot. Ended up circle 2, about 35 feet, giving it a little jump putt, and just held on to it. Tap in par though. Easy money. On to hole 13, par 3, 210 feet. It's on the top of this really tall berm in the front of the green, but the back of the green is a slight slope uh, backwards, but it's nothing crazy. It's not as extreme as the front of the green. There's Justin's shot. I thought it was really good, just a little short. I'm just trying to take my crown, just float it up there, get it on top of the hill, don't let it do anything crazy, and did exactly what I wanted. About 15, 18 feet. Kind of some awkward footing, but nothing too crazy. And hit my putt. On to hole 14, par 3, 385 feet. It's, you can see it's kind of right there on the hill. It's kind of a slow grade down on the backside of the green, but the front again is a little more extreme. I'm trying to take my less speed in trespass and throw it on kind of a hyzer flip line and just never really flip. Got some decent distance, but it's gonna be kind of left side fairway. Didn't really want to do anything crazy, so I just pitched up the Makani, just get it right next to the basket, and succeeded. And I apologize for the camera work here. Didn't really get my putt. We were trying to figure out where to go next, but dropped in the par. On to hole 15, par 3, 217 feet. This one's kind of dealer's choice. To the right seems really lucky. Down the middle is doable. I think honestly it might be a flex forehand line. And you can see there I tried to go up the middle and did not succeed. So I'm taking my justice and just trying to pitch around, get it as close as I can. Ended up right next to the basket, about 8 feet. So tapping in my par 3. And on to hole 16, par 3, 247 feet. This one I think is definitely either a flex forehand or a flip up forehand. And you'll see Justin here taking the flip up forehand route with I believe a sidewinder, and just hypes it. It's a great shot. Didn't quite fade as much as he wanted, but it's a sidewinder, but still a great shot. I believe it was in circle one. I'm taking my felon, just trying to do more of a chop forehand, and just kind of held on to it a little bit too long, but it's down the fairway, about maybe 70 feet. Doing a little half jump putt, get it by the basket. Don't risk a par or a bogey, just take my par. And on to the next hole. Hole 17, par 3, 253 feet. You can kind of see it nestled back here. Nothing crazy. There's kind of a route to the right that you kind of want to hit. And I think Josh just barely nicked a tree, but progressed pretty far. And I am taking my EMAC Truth, trying to throw it straight down the middle and just clip that right tree. Still progressed pretty good, but I ended up right here. Here's some commentary from Josh in the field.
Nice look. About 60 feet. Doing a little side dance. It's nice.
Thank you, Josh. And yeah, like you said, about 60 feet. Wasn't really trying to run it, just pitching up, take my 3, move on. Don't risk the bogey. And on to hole 18, last hole. Par 3, 425 feet. It had kind of a crosswind, but right to left. And I'm going to be taking my Match Play Explorer. I'm going to try and throw it on kind of a flex line, a little bit of an ante at first. Just kind of let the wind push it down a little bit and let the disc fade back in. Just didn't get it on ante. Threw it a little more flat. Faded more than I wanted, but still down the fairway, which is kind of behind this tree. I'm having to do a patent pending with my Glow Makani, kind of giving it a little bit of a run, but really more just pitching up. Know it's going to end up close. So yeah, here I am, tapping in my 3. That's it. Down 1. This is a great course. The back 9 is definitely more wooded than the front. They do have gravel tee boxes so far, but I think they're working on some concrete ones. Yeah, thanks for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe and keep an eye out for the next one.